Hey everybody, Brent here with Nutrition First Coaching, and on this week's video we're going to talk about hydration. But we're not going to just talk about water, we're not going to talk about H2O alone, we're going to talk about how to really get hydrated, intra and extracellular hydration, how to get this balance correct, how to make your mitochondria nice and strong. So let's get to the video and learn how to get really hydrated, because are you really hydrated? Are you really hydrated? Let's talk about the basics of getting hydrated, and not just simply drinking 8 glasses of water a day or half your body weight in ounces, but the key parts to getting hydrated, to getting the hydration out of your blood plasma into your cells to where we can really use H2O as a solvent to dissolve some of the most major things, which are electrolytes in our body. Now, we don't really think about these because we're really concentrated on macronutrients, but these little macro minerals are really important when it comes to hydration. Everybody's heard of sodium and chloride. This is sodium chloride. This is our table salt. We get a lot of it in our diet, and it gets kind of a bad rap. People say like, oh, if you have too much sodium, too much chloride, too much salt, you're gonna have high blood pressure. That's kind of true. What's actually going on with that is that there is an imbalance between how much sodium and chloride you're getting and how much of the other major electrolytes you're getting: potassium, magnesium, and calcium. Now, if the balance is correct between these, then you need a lot of sodium and chloride, but you have to balance that with your magnesium and specifically your potassium. Because if these are deficient, which magnesium is deficient in over 70% of the population. Potassium tends to be deficient in our diets, so we may need to supplement with that. And calcium we probably get enough of out of our diets, but again, if we're not balanced in these electrolytes, that's when we think we need calcium to build bones, which is kind of true as well. We need other things like vitamin D and K so that we can get that calcium into our bones and make the bone matrix stronger. But what we really need to do is concentrate on the balance of all these electrolytes. Now you can go to the blog, I wrote about this too, and you can see exact dosages of these. I've been taking a magnesium supplement for probably well over a year at this point, and magnesium is very critical for muscle relaxation. They call it kind of the calming macro mineral or electrolyte. And this one will get your muscles to relax, get you to be able to relax your body in general. It helps with gut motility, and it's a very important, plus we're very deficient in it. So look at the balance of these things in your diet. If you do ingest a lot of salt through your diet, so sodium and chloride, make sure you're balancing that with magnesium, potassium, and then probably getting some good sources of calcium in your diet as well. Now, we all think of good sources of calcium as, oh, it's got to be dairy, because that's what we've been pushed through the Dairy Association and the people that are trying to sell all the animal products, which, yes, I love yogurts and cottage cheese and all those things as well, but we're going to get a lot of our usable calcium out of sources that are like green leafy vegetables, spinach, kale, chard, those kind of things, and we're going to get a lot more out of those and be able to absorb them better than we are typically our dairy-based sources, as well as a lot more of the next thing I'm going to talk about, which is fiber. So we need fiber in our diet to stay hydrated as well, because that mix of soluble and insoluble fiber, which is going to come out of veggies, because that's how veggies are put together, is all the little structures of those plants are the fiber that's in our diet. So if we're eating plenty of veggies, we're going to have a lot of bulk in our stool. That's going to maintain and kind of keep that hydration in there. And then as it moves through our intestines, we can absorb all the good nutrients out of it. And that fiber, soluble and insoluble, makes our stool bulk move through, the motility improves. That's why we hear so much about how fiber is helpful for, dropping number 2 or dropping a deuce kind of thing. But if we don't have that fiber and the hydration with it, then we can't bulk up our stools. We're not going to get as much out of our foods and absorb the good stuff out of that and keep it moving through the system so we're not just reabsorbing all the bad stuff out of that. And the last thing to talk about with staying hydrated is probably water. So quality H2O, what I mean by that with a question mark is you got to have good filtered water. You got to have good access to good water most of the time, if not all the time, depending on what you're doing and the climate you live in. But don't go buying a bunch of bottled water and filling up the landfills with that crap. Get some good water filters. I mean, even a basic, simple, cheap water filter is going to do it's going to make a big difference. It's going to do a lot for your home and your water intake and your hydration and the flavor of your water. But get a nice filtration system on your house. It's worth the money. You can just fill all your bottles up from there. You're not throwing tons of plastic into the landfills. And that quality H2O, what is it really? 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen. It's the most effective and the greatest solvent that we can ever ingest. And what I mean by that is if you ingest quality water, it's ready to dilute these electrolytes into it as a solvent, get everything into our system, get it through the cell membranes, make us intracellular hydrated and extracellular hydrated so that our mitochondria, which are these little powerhouses of our cell, can produce energy. And if we can do that and we have that balance of intra and extracellular hydration, then we know we're really truly hydrated. We're not just chugging a bunch of water and then peeing it out. We're actually getting that hydration into our cells and keeping ourselves healthy. How does this apply to life? If you're hydrated, then you're going to perform better, you're going to think better, you're going to move better, your joints are going to feel better, your systems are going to function better. Basically, everything's better. So try to get nice and hydrated. Try some of these techniques, not just drinking water, but balancing your electrolytes, making sure you're getting plenty of soluble and insoluble fiber, and then drinking high quality H2O. And as Bobby Boucher would say, that's some high quality H2O. So get in there and drink it up. Try some different supplements for that. One I really like is Element, LMNT is how they spell it. That's a great supplement for getting intra and extracellular hydration. I like to use a magnesium supplement from BioOptimizers. I think that one's great as well. It's helped me with sleep and digestion and some of those helpful things that magnesium gives us in the evening. So check some of these things out, see how you're feeling, test some things out, see how it makes you feel from there, test and retest. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and like. Keep doing more videos. See you next week.